What's up guys, Valence Ring here, and I want to bring you a new video, and this one will be all about the Match 3 system, the game system, the gameplay for the Match 3 aspect of the game, which, if you know, is related to Arena, Hero Duel Survival, Hero Duel Glory, and campaign predominantly, and of course special operations, which I have videos on special operations and I plan on doing more of those. So a lot of it does depend upon heroes and things like that. Now I do want to make a quick note that the match 3 aspect of gameplay is a very large topic, and tactics and strategies vary based upon the strength of your heroes as well as the tiles that you get. And of course I'll show you all of that, but I wanted to say that I'm going to probably do a lot of videos on this because there isn't really much of a way for me to show you exactly all the tips and tricks, all the tactics, all the strategies. It's just impossible, especially in one video. That video would be very long and I don't want to do that to you. So what I will do is I'll cover most of the basics of that match 3 aspect of gameplay, cover some of the basic tips and tricks, some of the basic strategies for choosing heroes, and then outside of that I'll probably run through at least one game of the match 3 and show some tips and tricks of how I'm going to play it. Other than that, I'll do multiple videos on it. So as you know, in Arena you have Hero Duel Survival, Hero Duel Glory, and Commander Duel Conquest. Now Commander Duel Conquest has to do with your troops and not so much your heroes, and there is no match 3 aspect. But in Hero Duel Survival, when you challenge someone, you pick someone and you can see their hero lineup, and then that's basically what you're going to go against, and then you play the tiles against them. You can in fact beat people that are higher in might. For instance, this guy has all red star heroes. It's not impossible to beat someone that's higher in might than you. However, the tiles usually don't go in your favor and the damage that you're doing is less than normal. So you have to get a little bit lucky. You have to have some of the best strategies to even attempt that to be able to win. So normally you still do want to look at might, especially in Arena Hero Duel Survival, and try to make sure that you're attacking people that your heroes are stronger than. So other than that, that's Hero Duel Survival, and the same goes for Hero Duel Glory. If you're unfamiliar, this is where you take 3 teams up against their 3 teams, and you only have to win 2. So it's best to set up 2 lineups that are very strong and have one lineup that's a little bit weak. Or what I've seen a lot of people do, and I think it is a very valid tactic, is to have one of your strongest heroes in each lineup and kind of build around that one hero. And that's a very good strategy and one I need to actually practice. But at any rate, those are the tile-based, the match 3-based system of gameplay. So predominantly what I want to talk about those in campaign. I will make a note, obviously you might not be as high up in campaign as I am. I'm going to use an AP because I've already used mine practicing. But you might not be as high up as I am in campaign. I'm in hard mode. If you see the tabs up here, 1 and 2, you'll notice that 1 is for the regular campaign, and this is what you're first going to go through. It doesn't matter if you're not in the hard mode. These tips and strategies will still apply to you. As a matter of fact, it will help you if you're not in hard mode, because one of the main differences between regular and hard mode is that the enemies become a lot stronger. So I want to go ahead and go in here and show you. For instance, I just beat 10-5. It's very difficult. Most of these the enemies end up causing it reduces foes' attack, deals 95% damage, and it deals poison damage to the target for 6 rounds. That's really, really heavy, especially with higher level enemies. So this can be very disastrous, and you can always check and see what lineup you're kind of going against. As you can see, this one reduces target's defense. So they reduce your attack, they reduce your defense, they cause poison, and they do a lot of damage. And this one even converts damage dealt into hit point restoration. So very difficult level, and as the enemies level up, the harder you get, the further you get into campaign, the more important strategy is over overall might. So just being strong in the beginning, usually you're going to win as you level your heroes up. As soon as you start getting into the hard mode, you're going to find that the enemies are leveled up higher than you, and it's going to get more and more difficult to achieve victory. So in those situations, strategy and hero lineup is way more important than in any other instance. So even if you're not into the hard mode yet, if you're not into the second round of campaign, these strategies will benefit you in the easy or regular mode of campaign and all other aspects of the match 3 gameplay. And so that's why I want to do videos on it. So let's dive right in. The first thing, of course, is your hero lineup. It is important, especially the further up you go, to understand what you're going up against. So always check out your enemy lineup, and you'll see that this deals poison damage again, and that one doesn't say anything, that one doesn't say anything. So these are base heroes, and this is the boss. Okay, so that's luckily you're not going to have to worry about too much until you get to the boss, and you're definitely going to want to have Fox if possible, or Heartwell, which removes those debuffs. Poison is considered a debuff, so understanding that is very helpful. Other than that, you see what the drops are, but you're going to go ahead and hit challenge, of course, and this is where you're going to pick your hero formation. Now, because I understand that there's going to be poison debuffs and probably other debuffs, I definitely want Fox in. I have her leveled up really well. That's how I've gotten this far in campaign up to this point. So go ahead and I'm going to have 2 healers, and I like having Myers because he decreases attack and also removes the enemy's buffs. Obsidian steals buffs and puts them on your own players, and Requiem, of course, has a high attack and does lots of damage. So that's why I've chosen her. At any rate, how the match 3 gameplay works is, the first thing I'll note is, as you can see up here, I have it selected for the 3 times the speed, and you don't have to play on 3 times the speed, but once you clear chapter 18 of regular campaign, you will be able to select the speed, and I recommend moving it up to 3 because when you're doing a lot of attempts, it just speeds things up. And once you get used to the 3 times the speed, you don't ever want to go back to the 1 times the speed. The only other thing I'll mention is you can have the autoplay, which is the double arrow, and you can select autoplay, and then if you decide you don't like how it's playing, you can unselect it. Autoplay is not the best strategy. It is not designed to be a winning strategy as far as that goes. It's designed to, if you're overpowered and you're basically just raiding and you can beat it, then it's a good time to use auto battle, because you don't have to worry about using blitz tokens and things like that. The other button up there on the top right is to leave the campaign, or to leave the battle, and you can flee at any time. Of course, you still lose the AP that you are using, and you lose the battle. So I only recommend that if you don't want to waste your time, like you got one hero that's holding on, and you still have 3 waves to go, and you're just like, no, I'm not going to worry about finishing it out. In that case, just go ahead and flee the battle. Otherwise, up on the top left, you will see the weakness chart, and this is a very useful tool. It's always at the top of the match 3 gameplay, and this is basically just going to show you what is weak against what. And it's hard to remember. I don't know why. For me, it's hard to remember. Maybe it's easy for you. Green is weak against red, and red is weak against blue, and blue is weak against green, and purple and gold are weak against each other, respectively. And that's important to know. The harder the levels of campaign that you go, and the more difficult your opponents in arena, the more important this is, and that's probably the very first tip and trick that I want to mention. Understanding the weaknesses and the strengths of the colors of the tiles is going to make a huge difference in your gameplay and how well you do, especially as you get higher up in level. So the only other thing I want to mention is, in case people are unaware, these arrows at the very top here indicate the direction that the tiles are going to go in between the arrows. So these arrows are going to hit this enemy. These 2 arrows are going to hit this enemy. This arrow is going to hit both of these guys, and then so forth and so on. And this is just, it's kind of obvious, and it's not necessary to be there, but it is a good reference point if you're worried about not hitting an enemy, and that's another tactic I'll talk about later, hopefully. So as you go, understanding where the tiles are going to go is important, and then understanding exactly what the tile does. So if you have a blue tile, like these three I can match up right here, the blue tiles are literally Fox's attack. If you do not have a blue hero, then these blue tiles are only going to do 1 damage. That's it, no more, no less. So that 1 damage is kind of like just saying that, okay, you made contact. But without the hero there, you do not have the hero's attack. This also means that the attack of that hero, Fox's attack, is what determines the damage of the blue tiles. So the red tiles are based off of Requiem's, my red hero's attack. Blue are based off of Fox, my blue hero's attack, and so forth and so on. And that's why I do try to have the rainbow, all 5 colors in my lineup. This is not necessary. As a matter of fact, if I had, say, 2, 3, 4, or 5 red heroes, then the attack of all of those heroes would apply to each red tile. So in this way, the tiles indicate the attack of all the heroes of that color that you have in your lineup. So if you have 5 red heroes, then each red tile is going to do the attack of all 5 heroes at the same time. So as you can see, your damage can go up drastically and quickly by having the same color. Except for in certain circumstances, though, that means it's going to hurt you, because that means that no other color tile will do damage. And I've found that if you have stacked all your heroes of the same color, typically you're going to get less tiles. So while the tile drops do appear to be mostly random, I do believe that there are some percentages applied to which tiles may spawn in depending upon the strength and amount and level of your heroes. So you want to be careful and watch for that. You can still attempt it and try to get lucky. Other than that, understanding the basic principles of what's weak against what, the fact that the tiles do the damage of the heroes that you have in your lineup combined of the same color, and understanding where those tiles are going to go when they flee from the screen are some of the most important aspects of gameplay. You probably already know most of that, and I apologize for repeating it. I just want to make it clear for those people that aren't sure about it and don't necessarily understand it. At any rate, so going in, we're going to start the battle, and what do we want to do? I will say, if you're unsure what to do, one of the key factors is that what you're looking for in gameplay is for the tiles to leave the screen, hit the enemies, and more tiles to come on the screen. When those tiles come on the screen, you want them to hopefully get lucky, match up, and then those will clear. And what happens is, if you can get that to happen 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 times, what's going to happen is, I call it a cascade effect. And that cascade effect, each time you get a new match, it's going to increase the damage of that attack. This can be huge when you start getting large cascades 10, 12 times. The damage output is going to go so high that it's going to be beneficial for you. You're going to win more battles that way. So one of my main goals is always to get a cascade. Now, you can't always control it, but in some cases you can. If you look over here, you see I have 3 blue tiles, and right below it I have red tiles. Now I know when I clear these blue tiles, the red tiles are going to move up and they're going to match up. So I already know I'm going to have a minimum of a 2 combo cascade. So that's very helpful. It's also good to note that these blue tiles are going to hit these 2 red heroes, and as you can see up here, red is weak against blue. So this is what I would call a first start, a smart attack. And also, I do like making sure that my healers, especially Fox, have as much rage as possible. So every time I clear tiles of that color, depending upon the rage speed of the hero, it's going to fill their rage every time a tile clears that matches their color. So I'm going to go ahead and clear these blue tiles, hit my attack, and as you can see, I got the double cascade. If I'd have been lucky, I would have filled a 3rd cascade or 4th cascade, but that's okay. You can't count on that. Some of that does involve the randomness and the luck of it, but you do want to set yourself up for it where at all possible. Another good example is down here where these reds are now flashing. If I clear that, it's going to bring the 2 purples up, and I'll have a chance at a special flash bomb, and those are really critical, especially later in game. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and as you can see, that the tiles that come down and looks like they're hitting my heroes are actually the rage filling of that hero. When their rage becomes full, then you can use their skill, and that's when you can start doing really cool things, and that's important. But see, it's indicating to move over the gold and the purple, and it will flash at you an example of what you can do next. In this case, I don't want to do the recommendation because I do know that red is weak against blue, and I like to have my healer's rage fill as fast as possible. So I'm actually going to do this one here, and I'm going to move the purple over to this blue, and that's going to allow the 4 blue to create a regular grenade. Now, these grenades are not something that I recommend going after. If it, like in this example, was a good choice anyways, then yes, it's a good choice. But just to make one, don't go out of your way for it. Only if it's going to make good sense for the tiles that you have. The reason being is that these aren't as helpful as the big grenades, and hopefully I'll get a chance to show you that. Now also, when you have right here, you see you have the gold and the purple. Now when I switch these 2 tiles out, I'll actually match up the gold here and the purple here. The important note there is that even though it's not a cascade, it counts as a combo because I'm matching 2 different tiles of 2 different colors at the same time. This is a big deal because it's going to be very helpful for increasing damage output. In addition, it's going to fill the rage of 2 heroes, and of course we want our rage up as fast as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and do that simply for the combo attack, and then I'm going to start playing the game based upon how I want my heroes to interact. If I don't have an optimal move, if my next move isn't the best for the tiles, then I want to start thinking about heroes and their skills and how they work and what is important to me as far as which hero I want to go off next. So I want Myers to go off before Fox, and I want Obsidian to go off before Myers, and I want Eve to go off anytime the damage is coming down. And Requiem I want to go off as often as possible because she does a high attack rate. That being said, Myers increases attack rate, so it's better if Myers and Fox both go before Requiem. And that's just this particular lineup. At any rate, this will allow me to get Myers up, and this will allow me to get Fox up. So as you can see, Fox fills her rage a little bit faster, but that's okay. My heroes are taking damage, and she is a healer, so I'm going to go ahead and heal up and remove buffs and increase defense. That's what Fox does. And then I have Requiem, which can now utilize her skill, and she's going to do massive attack damage. She also adds some debuffs and some buffs, which are really important, but they're randomly placed. At any rate, understanding your heroes is very important as far as that goes, because you're definitely going to want to target those tiles that fill the hero that you need their skill. You need to use their skill next. Always try and keep your healers up, and of course, as you can see, I got a nice cascade. Now, it happened by accident, so to speak, but this grenade right here, it's in this row, is I call it the flash grenade. It's going to clear every tile of that color on the screen. Now, as you can see, I only have 6 tiles, including the bomb, of red. That's not a lot of tiles, okay, considering there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 35 tiles. I only have 6 of them red. That's not a very big deal. So you don't have to use the bomb just because it came up. What you can do is clear off some other tiles and hope that you get more red tiles or more tiles of that color. In this way, I'm going to be, filling up the hero's rage that I need, still doing the damage, and hopefully getting more red tiles and cascades. So I'm going to go ahead and heal up. It's a good point for it. And then I'm going to continue on. Again, red is weak against blue, so I'm going to throw my blues right down the middle. And when it's in the middle in between 2 heroes like this, it actually does damage to both and it doesn't split the damage, I don't think. It actually does the full damage to both as if both got hit individually. That is a really important point that you'll need to understand, because in this way I'm doing damage to both at the same time. And then I got the Cascade, my red went, and I'm going to use Requiem to clear off this board. Now, gold is weak against purple, so in many cases you want to match up the purple, and you want to try and get those cascades and combos up. Now, normally, like I said, I would use Myers to reduce the buffs and all those things, but because Obsidian steals buffs, we actually want to use him first. Now, we're almost done. Again, I don't want to use Myers because I'm about to kill this enemy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save Myers. You don't have to use their skill until you're ready, and there are a lot of instances where you want to save those hero skills. If you don't have a direct need for it, or there aren't a lot of enemies on board and you're easily going to kill the enemy, then save the skill for the next round, or for the boss, or for whatever the case may be. Now, when you're in Arena Hero Duel Survival, there isn't another round, so usually you want to use the skills as soon as you can and maximize those buffs and debuffs. But I'm going to go ahead and clear off that enemy, and now the second round has started. Obviously, there's always 3 rounds, and they usually get progressively harder. Third round is usually the boss. So again, look at the colors of your enemies. I've got 2 gold, 2 red, and I know that gold is weak against purple and red is weak against blue. Or yes, blue is strong against red. So I'm going to try and focus on those. And again, the main thing that you're looking for is cascades and matching up colors. Right here is not necessarily the best hit, but I know that when I move this blue over, it's going to allow me to move this blue over, and I'll get a blue attack on this enemy. If you do tap the enemy, as you can see here, the red hash marks, basically that means you're going to target that enemy. So when your hero's skills go off, you're going to focus your attack on that enemy. This can be super critical because a lot of times, especially like if you're fighting 2 bosses, one of the bosses might have a higher damage output or might create debuffs that are more harmful for you, for your heroes. In that case, I would target that enemy specifically, try to wipe them off the board before doing anything else, and then in that way I'll be able to maximize my win and my ability to win. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Myers. I'm going to go ahead and reduce their overall attack and increase my attack, and in this way I'll be a little bit stronger, and then I'm going to go ahead and line up those blues like I wanted. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a very strong attack, and now I can remove the debuffs that Myers put on with Fox, heal my troops up, or my heroes up, and of course I'm going to play from there. I always like to keep healed, and the reason for that is that if you use your healers and stay at max health, every time you clear a tile of that color, you refill their rage. So healers are not ones that I like to save unless it's right before I'm about to clear a board and I want them into the next battle. And there are special circumstances where that may be the case. Otherwise, I predominantly want to focus on clearing tiles and healing and staying as healthy as possible. This will prevent one-hit kills to my heroes and allow me to do as well as possible. Again, you're looking for cascades like that, matching up your heroes and attacking in that regard. I'm actually going to target this backline hero and with Obsidian, and as you can see, he hit that enemy specifically and did a large amount of damage. Now over here you'll notice I can get one of those flash grenades. Anytime you match up 5 of these tiles, it's going to give you a flash grenade. Now it's almost smarter if Fox's rage was almost full, I would almost want to switch these out instead. But flash grenades are very powerful, so I'm going to get that one instead. And then of course I'll use this, and as you can see, large cascades, lots of tiles, all the rage fills, very smart. And now I can use Myers, Fox, and Requiem. And in this way I'm using the enemies or my heroes' skills together, because Myers increases attacks but reduces the hit rate. Fox removes that debuff, so I was hitting with Requiem for 80% boost to her attack, and as you can see, it allowed me to keep even till the next round. So I'm going to actually save her for just a minute because all my health is full. There isn't any reason to use the healer if your health is full. Wait for at least one attack. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this to clear both grenades and of course do attack, and now I've set up for another grenade, a flash grenade. So now I've taken a couple hits and I'm going to use a flash grenade, so I do want to go ahead and use my healer. I'm back at max health and I don't know what tiles are going to clear from this. So not as much as I would like, but you can see I should have saved D for one more round. And I'm going to go ahead and target the boss because usually the bosses have massive amounts of hit points. And now I'm going to be this is going to get a little bit harder. See, Fox died because I didn't save Eve. So you live, you learn, you make some mistakes, and that's probably the most important thing, is you are going to make mistakes. Don't count on perfect gameplay all the time. Some of it does involve a little bit of luck. The boss is one-hitting one-hitting my heroes. So in that case, if at all possible, I don't want to hit the boss. I want to make sure that I can get Myers up because he reduces the attack. So this will allow that boss hopefully to not one-hit me. So again, looking for combos. And I really need Obsidian to survive this round so I can hit the boss again because he hits so hard. But at any rate, keep your healers up where at all possible. Oh, he's putting poison damage on. The poison damage is what's so terrible. Especially the higher up in levels you get, it just does massive damage. If I don't get lucky here, this is going to be a loss. And that's kind of my point. I probably should have saved Fox for the end. And then waited until the boss hit his skill, because that poison damage can be removed with her buff, and of course that's going to be critical in a lot of situations. So green is weak against red, and that's what I'm trying to focus on, hitting the boss with red tiles and cascades. As you can see, I lost. It's not too easy to lose the higher up you get. So that's pretty much the basics of gameplay of the Match 3 system. I'll go ahead and I'll probably be doing other videos where I might not talk as much and I'll just show you the gameplay itself at real speed without explanation, and you can kind of get a feel for how I play and some of the strategies and tactics I use. I will say this, I know it's a longer video than I planned, but when you're in the battle, take your time. There is no penalty for looking at the board. You have plenty of time to evaluate your decisions and pick the tiles that are going to maximize your damage and maximize, for instance, your rage regen and things like that. So don't feel rushed. You can take as much time as you want. Look over the board. Try to make smart decisions. And if you get stuck and you're not sure what to do exactly, you don't have any particular strategy for that moment in time, one of the best things that you can do is just go from the top down. And the reason being is when you move from the top down, you get the greatest movement of tiles, and this will give you the best chance of creating random cascades that do massive amounts of damage. But for the most part, you want to have a controlled board. You want to control the board. You want to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how your heroes work together, and how you can maximize your damage output by matching up weaknesses, strengths to weaknesses, utilizing your hero's skills at the best times, optimal times, saving them for critical times, and of course, just having a little bit of luck helps. You're going to get better tiles sometimes than other times. Use that to your advantage. If you're stuck, don't feel too bad. Try a different hero lineup or level up some heroes, which is always good. And of course, just keep trying, because sometimes it's just a matter of getting the right tiles at the right time. And of course, the more you play the Match 3 aspect of this game, the better you're going to get at it and the better you're going to do. So I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope that your match 3 goes well for you. If you have any questions, like I said, this is a big topic. It's hard to answer specific questions on strategies because the tiles are constantly changing and everything is in flux. So, but if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments section below. I will answer them as best I can, and hopefully I'll be able to help you out. Thanks again for watching. Give the video a big thumbs up if you liked it, if it helped you out, and subscribe to my channel, especially if you want to see more of this match 3 gameplay, because I do plan on doing a lot of videos on it as time goes along. Thanks again for watching, guys.